make a dream job. No.
That's it. That's the end.
It's all good. Welcome to the Let's Talk Sports Show. I am Johnny Cruz. I am here with Sam, Mr. First Down. I am here with SJ Cobe 1, Scott Cobe. Our normal driver of, sailor of the boat is not here, Mr. Nick Bodkins. He's doing family stuff. His daughter has a softball game, so shout out to baby Bodkins. Hopefully she's playing well and they're winning. Tanner will hopefully be with us later on. But right now, it is the Three Musketeers that are holding it down for the Let's Talk Sports Show. So welcome to the show. Sorry about the messed up intro. It is what it is. That's what happens when you last minute tell me to do stuff. All right.
It's so freeing, isn't it? We're all so free right
yes,
now.
it is. We can talk about and do whatever we want.
Yeah, that's right.
The parents aren't here, so the kids are going to play.
That's right.
We of course, again, if you're new, hit the subscribe, give us a big fat thumbs up, click on the little bell so you get notifications whenever anybody is going live. Check out the Johnny Cruz show that I just did with Matt Larison. Shout out to Matt Larison. He is the man, knows his stuff, boys. So definitely check him out. Scott is a big time guest that's always on the show there with the sports betting. Because that's of course right up Scott's alley. Scott is he doesn't need to call 1-800-GAMBLERS just yet. But he knows what he's talking about. Scott,
he's on the razor's edge though.
I'm on the
yes,
razor's
he is. We are promoting a contest that since Scott's got some cool stuff to give away. He mentioned the first question. He's going to ask two questions. The first question was on yesterday's LTS show, so definitely check. We ain't going to repeat it. So go check out that show so that way you get the first question. And then here we go with Scott with the second question for the prize. Let them know what the prize is too.
So it's warriorbowl.com is where you go to sign up, and whoever wins has to go to warriorbowl.com to sign up. So quick, it's not even a 2-minute thing. It's just to add your name, your Twitter handle, and stuff like that. It's a charity for kids. There's two charities they're giving away. One is the Children's Hospice in the UK. It's a UK-based, charity league. So it's about 400 people in it. Got industry experts from, if people out there know, rotowire.com and football diet. Bunch of people that are in it, industry analysts and stuff like that. And then there's the normal people like me and everybody else. So it's a worthwhile charity league. It's they're trying to do it like scottfishbowl.com, if you know that. So and I will be announcing the two winners on this coming Sunday, Father's Day show. Ooh. On Let's Talk Sports Show. Those will be the two winners. So the second winner will happen tonight. The two winners will happen tonight, and I will DM them. I'll ask them on Thursday, put the Twitter handle in the Scott Cobe Show comments, and we'll get them off, and we'll get it to the warriorbowl.com, and they'll send the invite out to them. So the question is second.
Well, before you say that, just to let you know, Sunday is 9 a.m. is our shows on Sunday. Yeah. We're normally 2 hours. This Sunday is Father's Day, so we are just going to do an hour show. I don't believe we're going to have a guest, so we're just going to be chopping it up ourselves, wishing each other all a happy Father's Day. We'll discuss whatever's been going on with the sports the last couple of days, and then you can go and enjoy the rest of your family. So like Nick likes to say, shout out to Nick. Have your morning coffee and check out the LTS crew as we entertain you for an hour this Sunday morning. Well, go ahead.
Will you guys be nice to me for an hour on Sunday?
Well, I mean, we got to bust your balls because it's Father's Day, so we'll probably cut you some slack. But
I'm sure
we wouldn't mess with you if we didn't like you. Bro.
I have twin girls. They're twins. They're gonna kill me.
Oh, you got enough troubles as it is, man.
No,
we do need to take it easy on you.
He's already dead. Leave him alone.
So the second question.
Oh yeah, you have something important to say. That's right.
The first question was on Let's Talk Sports Show this week, as this is the first week. Week one is in the books after tonight. The second question is very simple. Mr. First Down brought up a stat about Nikola Jokic. 40-point games. What is the Denver Nuggets record in those 40-point games? So if you were listening to the show, it was right off the top of the show last Monday night. Yep. But Mr. First Down gave out the record of the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic, 40-point games. What is their record?
I have it
Right.
in
the
you want me to
postseason,
read it
right?
out loud?
In the postseason.
No,
Don't give the answer. So and you talk about the postseason. In this postseason.
Yeah,
only
postseason.
postseason.
Yes.
Not regular season, postseason.
Post-
What is their record? And one person that I remember got the first question right. So
Nice. Okay,
that
so
person
he's
is
already
in the
got
running.
a leg up. So there
He's
you go,
got a
people.
leg up.
Definitely once you finish getting done with this show, definitely check out yesterday's episode of the Let's Talk Sports show.
Absolutely.
And you'll get the first question. And again, if you get both of them right, you get an opportunity to be part of this really cool contest and be part of that fantasy football league.
But I will say this. Mr. First Down wasn't here yesterday, so any fan of Mr. First Down may not want to check out the show because he was not on it yesterday. So
Whoa.
Yeah, so the quality of the show was definitely not as good yesterday.
No, it
because
was not.
We didn't have our
that
boy
makes me feel
Sam.
nice.
We didn't have our boy Sam. Enjoy it now because it's gonna end once Nick and Tanner get here.
I'm waiting for his
It's gonna be a
music to come
different
in. And he's
vibe,
going to come
so.
down the ramp. Stone Cold's theme song
Right.
starts, and I'm just on the mic going.
Well, one of the things that the three of us wanted to talk about, I mentioned it a little bit
we're in
earlier,
charge.
talking to Matt. Again, shout out to Matt Larison. You can follow him at Larison Bets on Twitter. And every Friday, 6 p.m., him and Ryan have Let's Talk Bets, where they give you all kinds of tips and stuff with fantasy football and betting. And Scott will probably be on the show with them as well. So all your sports gambling needs are met right there for you between the Larison brothers and Mr. Scott Cobe. So definitely check it out. But we were talking about video games and we were talking about anime cartoons and stuff like that. And we are all fans of that type of stuff. So again, definitely give it a check. The Johnny Cruz show with me and Matt. It was a lot of fun getting to know Matt a little bit better there. And Ryan, man, he said that he's a better athlete than you are right now, Ryan. So you got something to go after your little brother with right there. So all right, so what's favorite video games? What's the top one for Sam, either now or when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, I would play the ever-loving crap out of Final Fantasy VI. It has this. I loved RPGs. I still do. And you could it had like 13 people you could put on your list. You could only play with 5 or 6 of them at a time, so you had to choose wisely. Everybody had an individual story. Took you forever to beat it. But I remember one summer I was sitting there, there was a permanent indention in my couch because I was playing it so much on the Super Nintendo. I would never put it down. I never put it down. Are we going to talk about before Nick comes on and destroys us? Can we talk about what we're playing now? Can we do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, bro. I'm playing Diablo 4 now. I think most of America is. I love some Diablo 4, but there is a game that if you haven't checked out, you totally should, called the Miasma Chronicles. It's really good. Chronicles. Yeah, it's like this tactical thing. It's post-apocalyptic Kentucky, which I call modern day Kentucky. So it's a lot of fun. So check it out.
Nice. Definitely. I've always been a Madden person. I've always been I love Call of Duty. I'll play that, say whatever with the kids. I actually like the zombie part, the zombie maps and stuff like that. I have fun with the
Did you kill
kids doing that, and we'll do it. We all had the PlayStation 4. Yeah, so we'll all play together and stuff. Me and the 3 boys and stuff. So all 4 of us will be playing Call of Duty all the time. It was a lot of fun.
My dad's 60, and we all play Fortnite together. He freaking loves it.
That's awesome, bro.
Loves it.
That's awesome. What's going on, man? Like he said, tuning in for the ride home. Can't wait for Jim's segment. So Tanner's already done listening to us.
Right. Hey, we can block him from getting on, right?
He wants Jim on the show as soon as possible. Sorry about the intro there, Tanner. Please don't. Please don't write me up for that, Tanner.
The junior super producer will be able to get on, I think, without any problem. We can't block him. So
yeah. Nah, he'll be fine once he gets here. We will have a lot of fun with Jim, of course. The hockey expert. I mean, he is something else with his hockey knowledge. It's ridiculous.
He is so sharp. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and he definitely articulates it very well. And you know what I'm saying. So, and you can tell he loves it, man. You can tell he loves hockey, so it's a lot of fun. They mentioned that he also, he also likes tennis. There's some tennis stuff going on now.
Yeah.
It was talked about in our group. Obviously, the Joker won his 23rd, Grand Slam, or major, whatever last night to pass Nadal. Let's talk about the GOAT. I mean, I guess they're all in that conversation. I would throw Pete Sampras in that conversation as well. I mean,
absolutely.
A lot of people forget about Pete Sampras because he had absolutely no personality at all.
Right.
But he was a great player. It was just before Federer and all of them got into it now. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the Joker passing Nadal, and would you consider him the GOAT?
I think there was 5 or 6 years ago where Djokovic was just dominant in these major tournaments where he would win 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 3, whatever it might be. And then he's kind of slowed down lately. And then he just won the French Open. And there, the talk around that was, well, Nadal wasn't playing. So he, let's see him play Nadal in the French Open, see how he does.
All right.
Guess what? You play who you play. And Djokovic played who he played, and he beat everybody. So 23 Grand Slam titles. You're the best in tennis all time.
Yeah.
You've got the most Grand Slams. It's like people say about Brady. He's got the most Super Bowls. He's the best of all time. He's gotten there so many times.
Speaking of Brady, he was in his box. Brady was in his box.
Yeah, he went to go see him. Yeah, he was there.
Did. Oh,
he was there for
Brady
the
shows
game,
up at these big time events. So
yeah,
it's just there's a golf tournament, U.S. Open coming up this week. Brooks Koepka's won 2 of the last 3. 3 out of the last 4. People don't look at him as the greatest all time, but I look at him as one of the best because he's won all these majors. So for Djokovic, he is the greatest of all time. He's won the most majors. He's been there a few more times and has lost. So,
all right. Well, since we're talking about it, and our number one guest has come in, so you can calm down now, Tanner. You don't need to speed anymore.
Yeah, Tanner.
You can drive the speed limit, Tanner.
You guys can hear
we're
his
back
heart
on track
rate
here with an actual guest, so it's not just the knuckleheads here talking. So we'll bring Jim out. What up, Jim? How you doing, bud?
Yo, what up, boys? I get in the conversation of the tennis talk. And I gotta add my 2 cents in here.
Of course,
because
we were hoping that you would, bro.
It's always a nickel with you. It's not 2 cents. We know that.
First of all, before Jim goes, nobody knew that Jim talked about tennis until I saw the video short on Twitter yesterday about him talking about the Djokovic, and that's why I brought it up in the group chat. Is that I saw it.
Well, I'm glad you did. I like tennis, so I'm good.
Look, I've been a big tennis guy going back long time. I grew up watching Connors and the Connors, but Agassi, Sampras, Courier, Chang, guys like that. Boris Becker, obviously, even Ivanisevic, all those guys. Obviously, Federer was always my guy when he came on the scene, but always respecting Nadal and Djokovic for what they did. I'm not the biggest Djokovic guy just because of his attitude and everything like that, but he's got that winning attitude. And look, you can't deny what he's done on the court, 23 Grand Slam titles. May not be the most fan-friendly around the world. There's the Roger camp and the Rafa camp they're going to have their 2 cents in that because of the class that both guys have. But both guys showed class after Djokovic did it. Look, this guy said he wanted to be the best. He is the best right now. I mean, look, Casper Ruud had chances to win that final, up 4-1. I had a chance to go up 5-2, missed some opportunities. Again, Ruud missed some opportunities in tiebreak as well. But I mean, look at the head-to-head record with Djokovic and Nadal and Djokovic and Federer. I mean, look, Federer could have had a chance at a couple more Wimbledon titles if it wasn't for Djokovic there. Nadal, I mean, look, this guy, what he's done for his body and everything. Look, these guys, the golden age of men's tennis with these 3 guys, you're not going to see this for a long time. I mean, this was such an age of these guys dominating a sport, and only a handful of guys, and it's literally only a handful, have got in to crack that when they've been dominant. Del Potro, you had Vavrinka a couple of times, and Andy Murray. Those are the names.
Right.
That's it. Like, Stan Wawrinka won 3 championships. He's won 3 majors. He's won Australia. He won at the French, and he won at the U.S. Open, which I was there for. He beat Djokovic in that final, and I believe he beat Djokovic in another final. He beat Nadal in another final. So, crazy to think that, there's only a handful of guys. And think about Del Potro, his injury. If he doesn't have the wrist surgery, has the wrist problems, he's probably got a couple of more majors. He beats Federer in 2009. I mean, there's so many. You could go back to so many finals with these guys where they could have added on. Like, who would have thought when Sampras retired at the U.S. Open that one year that people would be passing 14? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Nobody. I was just telling the guys that, I mean, you kind of got to give it to the Joker because, the total amount, and even head-to-head, I think he had a winning record against both Nadal and Federer. It might have been close, but, I mean, he did win more than they did. But, I mean, I would put Pete Sampras on that Mount Rushmore if you're going to put a Mount Rushmore. I mean, he just had absolutely no personality. So he didn't market himself at all or nothing like that, but he just went out there and he played great tennis. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I agree with you completely. I thought that was going to stand for a second, and they just blew past
everybody just blew by it. I mean, look, if Djokovic can do something that no man has done since 1969, since the Rocket Rod Laver, if he can complete the calendar Grand Slam, that seals the deal.
Yeah,
it does, because there's gonna be people that say Rod Laver is the greatest of all time because he's won the calendar slam twice. And he wasn't allowed to play for a handful of years. So how many more slams could he have had? Right. So there's always a debate on who's the greatest of all time. But what we have seen and what we went through with these guys is something remarkable. We're not going to see this for a very long time, and we have some great guys coming up. But the golden age of men's tennis with the big three is unfortunately done. Federer's retired. Nadal's close to retiring. And we don't know when Djokovic is going to hang him up, so he could add to this list.
That you were right, though. 23rd Grand Slam title. He needs 24 to tie the record, 25 to beat it.
Oh, yeah, because of what is that, Margaret Court's record?
Yeah, out of Australia, yeah.
Yeah, Margaret Court's, again, I mean, look, the all-time record is 24. The men's record has been broken like 5 times now. Like everybody's past 14, it seems. But I think he'll get it at Wimbledon.
I do too.
Unless somebody makes a run. I just don't see anybody beating him at the All England Club. I think where he can stumble is in New York because Medvedev's such a good hardcourt player, and he beat him there in New York. So I can see that's going to be the hard one because of the surface, but he's going to be motivated because it'll be the first time since that loss to Medvedev that he's played in the United States.
How many more years do you think Djokovic has of this standard of tennis that he's playing now?
Right. I would think maybe a couple of more years. I mean, look, he does keep his body in great shape. He does. Yeah. He manages his schedule well. But again, I think eventually Medvedev, I know, can match stroke for stroke ground strokes with him on a hard court. There are guys that can play with him and can beat him. It's going to be easy to see how they adjust on each surface. Now, again, anything can happen. It is very, very difficult to pull off that Roland Garros Wimbledon double. It is very, very difficult. Only a handful of guys have done it. Borg, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. They've been able to do it. But again, it's going to be the thing is there's more history at Wimbledon with him. But the problem is it's Roger's house, and again, if he does it, what's the reaction going to be when he does it?
Well, I mean, it goes back to what you said as far as like people's their thoughts of him or whatever, his mentality, his attitude. I don't know what happened with these two, but I guess they needed a break. But
that's all right. Yo, what?
There we go. I don't know what that was about.
If people saw Keith's show yesterday, I ran the show for about a good 20 minutes. because the power went out. So it's all right.
Bro, we were talking about video games.
Bro, we were talking about video games
Yeah,
and whatever. You know what I'm saying? We were just having fun, man. Like I said, while the adults were away, the kids were playing and having fun.
Hey,
with the show.
you know what?
Tanner is speeding home right now.
Yeah,
we're trying to hurry up and get control of this show.
We're not letting him in. I blocked him out.
We're having a
here.
good time. I think he's gonna win. I think he's gonna break it.
I do too.
Will he play at this level for 3, 4, 5 more years? Maybe not. But even not at his top level, he may still be able to get 1 or 2. So I think he can get, 27. I think he can win 4 more at least.
Well, it's funny because, Roger comes off the injury in 17 and they're like, when's it can he ever win another one? He won back-to-back Australian Opens and then won Wimbledon again. And it's like, all right, this dude, all right, well, we could see this. And, he definitely had opportunities. There were definitely opportunities that Federer missed for winning Grand Slams. Nadal the same. But again, they ran into players that were hungry. And I expect the younger generation to catch up. And, men's tennis and then the women, all tennis is in good hands with these legends retiring because there's so many good players coming up. And it's very fun to watch. I mean, Alcaraz, he's such a great – if he can learn to just get his body ready for the long grind, he's going to be fine. Sinner, you got – the list goes on of guys that, and even the Americans with Fritz and Tiafoe, guys like that. The sport's in a good spot even when these boys retire. I mean, look, Agassi's the guy that really set the standard after 30 of 30 in tennis, it's not, nobody expects you to win. This guy just comes out, wins majors, gets in great shape. Vila, his training, what he did. So I think everybody followed suit. Guys adjusted. But again, hats off to Djokovic, what he did at Roland Garros. It's unbelievable, what he did in Rafa's house. Because Nadal wasn't there. And if Nadal comes back next year, I'm still making him the favorite on that surface.
Yeah, on that surface, absolutely. I think you have to.
Yeah, I agree. I really want another good American tennis player. You know what I mean? Like, for some reason,
how long have we been saying that, man? We've been saying
Roddick,
that.
Roddick was the last guy.
That was it.
He had one major, and then Federer came along. It's unfortunate.
Just smacked him around. Yeah. No,
he had opportunities to win majors against Roger, but again, Roger figures it out, and that's what the greats do. It was a poor time to, you look at the NBA, right? You think about guys that ran into Jordan.
Patrick Ewing,
Charles Barkley, all those guys,
Reggie Miller, they just got chewed up. Yeah.
You go to Utah. Karl Malone, Stockton. Those guys just ran. Sometimes you just run into guys like that, and then an individual sport, it's that's what happens. But like I said, Fritz, Tiafoe, those are guys, American guys that are doing well in the top. I think Fritz is top 10, and now Tiafoe's, I think, like top 25. So they're coming along. There's guys that are coming along. I will say I think an American will finally win a major real soon. It's coming.
Jim spoke it into existence.
There you go. That's it.
It's happening.
Is the state of U.S. tennis on the rise, back on the rise now?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Men's and women's. I think both sides are really good. You got good young players coming up on both sides, and they're, I think obviously Coco Gauff on the women's side, everybody looks at her, Katie McNally, Sophia Kenin, she's won a couple of majors. So both sides are really good. They have the great developmental program. Obviously everybody knows down, Florida, that's where to be, training, obviously LA, stuff like that. I know Chrissy Everett's, I think son or one of the big names has a kid that's playing. I think Ben Shelton's his name. I forget. I don't know if it's Everett. I think it's one of the other. I think it's the other one. That has that her son's playing right now, and he's doing really, really well. So it's it's there. People are playing. Obviously, the craze is. We know what the rage is around the world right now. So It's obviously pickleball, but I mean that's a fun sport too. But I think American tennis is in a good spot, and again, I think you're gonna see it. I think a male is going to finally win a major, and it's going to be it's going to be good, exciting.
It's going to be exciting
No.
when it finally does happen. So
Now,
who was your favorite? Who was your favorite growing up? Before we move on to something else, who was your favorite tennis player growing up?
I mean, obviously, like later on, it was Roger Federer because I idolized him and I liked the way he played. He was so graceful, and I tried to model my tennis game after him. I have a one-handed backhand. I will never go to a two-handed backhand. I think it's graceful, the one-handed backhand, the old school look. And then obviously Agassi, I was a big fan of Agassi. I liked him, so I mean, when he ran into Pete, I was like, man, but but I always liked Agassi for some reason. I just thought he was cool. It never gets I can never stop watching McEnroe yell at
no one can.
Judge. Nobody can, man.
Nobody can. You kidding me?
Here's the big thing when I was growing up. When Wimbledon was going on, I was a huge fan of watching Wimbledon on NBC with Dick Enberg and when McEnroe played and when it came to Jim Courier and stuff like that. Jimmy Connors. I was a huge tennis fan back then because that's when the men's side of tennis was huge. There was like 8 to 12 guys that could win any tournament at any given time.
I remember when I was a kid, Andre Agassi, because he had that bald head, was like doing Gillette commercials.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for us that are older than you, he had hair.
He did have hair.
He had the wild hair. And he was just, he just looked cool. And he made it look fun.
One of the best TV dramas I've ever seen in tennis is when Jimmy Connors was playing his last tournament at the U.S. Open.
Was that 92, right?
92.
Yeah,
and
the
crowd got behind him so much, and he played. His game rose so much at that age that it was incredible just to watch and see how he got.
I mean, look, dude, the U.S. Open is a fun event to go to. I've been lucky enough to go for a long time.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Because it's right in my backyard. So it's great to go. I mean, I love going opening week. Don't get me wrong. I try to go second week too, but opening week is the best, especially the first day. Matches around. I don't even go to the big stadiums. I stay on the outside courts, like just stay out there all day. Great matches. I love the old when Armstrong and Grandstand were right next to each other. It was great. You just go back and forth. But the new setup is fine. I mean, it's great. I mean, the U.S. Open, Wimbledon. For me, like I'll watch all the majors, but like as I talk to a lot of people, it's like when Wimbledon's on, it's like, the tennis season's really here, even though it's already been like 7 months into the season. It started in Australia, buddy. I mean, I know you're not staying up late and getting up early, but so yeah, I mean, like my only, and I know we're still on the tennis subject. My only critique for tennis, was the coverage this year. I thought Tennis Channel does a great job. I wish NBC would not switch their matches over on a weekend to Peacock, especially when it's really good, especially it's a really good match. And I know football's king, but no one cares about spring football in this country. They don't. Just keep the match on and people will watch it. And that's how you grow the sport.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yes, absolutely. You don't just get hockey from Jim. You get some tennis there too. All right, before we start
all around sports. Let's go.
There you go. Before we get into the hockey talk, I got to get our first promotional read here before Tanner actually writes me up. Actually, before he actually does write me up, but it's Underdog. Download the app, or you can go to underdog.com. Use the promo code LTS, and they will match you up to $100. Best ball drafts of all sports, daily fantasy drafts. Again, that's the Underdog app, or you can go to underdog.com. Again, make sure you use the promo code LTS, and they will match you up to $100. So definitely check that out. All right, the hockey man is here, so we got to talk some Stanley Stanley Cup final. Is it over, bro? I mean, like, does Florida have any shot? Like, I hate to say that in hockey because hockey's the one where a goalie can get hot for a couple games and you're right back in it.
It doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
A couple crossbar hits, and Vegas should have scored 3, but only scores 1, and then Florida sneaks out a game. Hockey is the one where I never say a team is out until like it's over. But it feels.
This one feels different, right? This one feels different.
Feels like it's just a death nail at this point.
It feels different, and if it wasn't for a late goal, we're probably talking about a sweep. Like we really are. No, wow. I mean, if you go back to Game 3, think about it. I think Vegas tried to hold on to the lead, and they couldn't get the puck out, and they played defensively, and Tkachuk got position, and he just puts it in, and they got their game.
That's true.
You look at Game 4, there were periods where Vegas showed why they're the best team and the better team remaining. And there was a stretch in the second period where they outshot them 18-4, and they scored 2 goals. And you were one, but like you go back to the beginning of the game, they get the first goal, they come out strong. Florida hangs around. You thought it looked like a repeat of Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final. Okay, you get out 1-0. All right, it's great. Okay, they're going to survive. They're going to probably figure out a way. No, Vegas comes out. It's like, no, this isn't happening. But then Florida gets momentum, a lucky bounce. They start playing. Again, I personally felt that Vegas played too passive in the third period, tried to hang on, tried to play too defensively. That's not really their game. When they play the way they can play, they're driving the play. They're going north and south. They're using their speed, physical. And you saw with about 5 minutes left, they started to take over the game again. And then we have the man scramble at the end. If the game was tonight, I'd say Florida has a better chance. It's tomorrow. I think you're going to see the Game 6 Vegas you saw against Dallas to start that game. I have this feeling Bruce Cassidy's telling these guys, let's go out, let's go finish the job, and let's not go back to Florida. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think Vegas is going to come out. The first 10 minutes of this game is going to be huge for Florida. And not to mention, let's be honest, Florida 2-3 rounds ago, down 3-1 to Boston, was a healthier team. Now they're not. Tkachuk's playing with one shoulder. Barkov's banged up. Ekblad's banged up. Gudas is banged up. Barkov, I mean, that team is just beat up right now. And Vegas is healthy, and they're playing, and they're flying around. And Aiden Hill is making he's making series-changing saves every game. And he did it again in Game 4. I know everybody's like, well, Tkachuk with the bum shoulder. He puts his pad out with bodies in front. Puck doesn't go in.
Right.
And that's Game 4.
Right. And again, I talk about the goalie a lot. I don't know. I'm a big goalie fan, so I always think about a hot goalie and hockey can take you far. I thought Bobrovsky would be the one, but it's the kid from Vegas. I mean, they're just better. I mean, to be quite honest, and so you think they come out with that killer instinct and just go for the throw and just try to stomp them out and just let's get this done quick and early.
I do. I've seen it. I watched it. I've seen it a couple times already in the playoffs. They just come out and if they want to win and take over a game, they will.
Yeah.
And I think Bruce Cassidy's going to probably showed them the film. They probably talked about it. Hey guys, we can't lapse. We can't let them back in the game. We got to play our style. I think if they score first in Game 5, they're going to go for blood. They're going to go for the jugular. They're going to try to get 2, 3, 4. They're going to try to make this a blowout as quickly as possible. Now, Bobrovsky's played well, but when Vegas gets rolling, they just pin the team and they just come in waves. 4 lines every single shift. I mean, look at the stats. 11 different goal scorers in the Stanley Cup final to what? 3 or 4 for Florida.
Right.
Not going to get it done. Just not getting it done. I mean, the power play for Vegas has been on fire. Aiden Hill's playing great. The time off for Florida definitely hurt them. They're starting to find their game. Maybe they can build off of Game 4. But again, Vegas isn't – okay, your emotions get the best of you at the end of the game. Yeah, we saw that in Game 4 against Boston. You have 2 days off, settle down. Vegas isn't going to get into that stuff to start Game 5.
Right.
The thing with Vegas is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, they're the most complete team in the NHL playoffs this year.
Oh, 100%.
Respect to the Bruins and what they did this year in the regular season. I'm a Bruins fan. Respect to what they did and respect for what Carolina did. I just think Vegas is at another level that Florida just did not see in this playoff season.
Well, I think I said it last week. And if I didn't, I probably said it on someplace else. Florida was the bully of the Eastern Conference. You can't push around the bully, the bigger bully. Like Vegas, complete team, top to bottom. And after they got by Edmonton, you're like, oh boy, here we go. Like this team can do something right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they shut down McDavid and Draisaitl. Then they go, and they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. Like let's not like say, oh yeah, Florida's this underdog team. There's everybody against us. Well, you know what? Vegas has the same mentality because they weren't really picked in every series to win. I mean, the first series, you were unsure of Brossoit. You're not sure. You probably thought they were going to win, but maybe because Hellebuck and, through the first game and a half, it looked like they just didn't find their game. Once they found their game, and then they win Game 3 in double overtime, and that's pretty much that series. But then going into Edmonton, a lot of people picked Edmonton because, McDavid, Draisaitl, what they did, and the power play was clicking for Edmonton. But then they got it going. Aiden Hill makes saves. They take less penalties. And, okay, where's the Oilers' offense coming from outside of McDavid and Draisaitl? And then they go into Dallas. Some people picked Dallas. I did it. Once they beat Edmonton, I was like, this is Vegas' cup to lose. I was like, defensively, they're bigger, faster, stronger. They built down the middle, centers, big defense, getting great goaltending, most complete team in the playoffs, and they're healthy, and that's the biggest thing right now.
My question is, if there's any shot, I mean, the Panthers have to change what they're doing, right? They can't just keep doing what they've been doing.
No, they can't.
Is there anything else in their back pocket you could see them throwing out to try to turn the tide? Because they're desperate at this point. They got to try something.
Well, they better score a power play goal. They're 0 for 13 in the series. I mean, that's just. I mean,
that's hideous.
That's not good.
Disgusting.
I mean, you can't not score a power play goal. I mean, that's huge because they're momentum changers in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, Vegas, Game 1 got a power play scored. In Game 3, got a power play scored. I mean, like those is what get you back in games, and they gotta get on. But again, offensively for Florida, they need guys to step up. It can't be the Tkachuk show. It just can't be because he's hurt, and he's hurt. And the fact of the matter is that Paul Maurice is making comments about uncertainty for tomorrow. He's playing. It's the Stanley Cup final. He's playing. It's Game 5. He's not going to sit out. He's not sitting out.
No.
He missed practice. Okay, great. A bunch of guys missed practice. You know why? Because they're banged up.
All right. But he's a hockey player, man. He's playing, bro.
He's playing. But the fact of the matter is they're finally acknowledging it that he's not 100%. And they need more from Barkov. They need more from Verhaeghe. Yes, Brandon Montour stepped up. But Anthony Duclair, Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart, guys like that. But the problem is Vegas is just a deeper team. We thought Florida was pretty deep. But then when you look at it, when Tkachuk accounts for 41% of their offense, they're not that deep. And Vegas knows how to shut down one guy. They did it against Edmonton. So they know how to do it. They shut down one of the best lines in hockey against Dallas. They know what they're doing. And they just shut down the middle of the ice. And then it's game over.
Right.
Is there any way that Florida wins the game that you may think, oh, well, maybe? I mean, like do they have to just dominate Vegas in this game to where you're like, oh, okay, maybe they can show something? Or if it's another overtime and they just happen to win, is it still just delaying the inevitable? Or is there some fashion of a win that they can show that you might be like, hey, maybe there's some life to them and something can happen here? Or is it just a done deal?
Look, they got to play smart, keep things simple, play within themselves, don't take penalties, play discipline. We saw what the first 2 games were like in Vegas. They get blown out. I mean, crowd was really a factor in it. Just play smart, simple hockey like you did the last couple of games. Just play within yourself. Keep the score close because Vegas, when they average 3 goals or more, they win. When they score under 3 goals, they lose. So if you can keep it within there. But I think it's still delaying the inevitable because we've seen Vegas lose a game 5. They did it against Dallas. They didn't play a great game. And then they come in and play lights out in game 6. 6 years ago, Washington went into Vegas up 3-1, closed it out on their home ice, won the Stanley Cup, Summer Vovey. I think Vegas wants to make sure it's them on home ice. So, it's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be over tomorrow. As Jim's
I think so. I just don't think like Florida is. I'm not taking anything away from them. They've shown they can do it, but it's really tough to do it in the Stanley Cup final. That's why only one team has done it. 1942, the Maple Leafs were down 3-0, and they came back and won the Stanley Cup. It's really hard to do to beat a team 3 times in a row, twice in that building, in the Stanley Cup final.
Vegas is just clearly better. Yes. I think. Yeah, they're just clearly better.
Way better. Way better.
I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun to see that tomorrow.
I'm pumped.
It's cool when you don't have a dog in the race because you can just enjoy the sport. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about being emotionally attached to anything. You can just watch the game and enjoy the game for what it is. I want to throw some comments up here before we move on. College Sportcast, what's going on? So what do y'all do to Bodkins? We got him locked up in the trunk, bro.
I told him they killed him and ate his liver. That's what I said.
Killed him and ate his liver.
Fava beans and a nice candy. Yeah. I don't know why I posted all those times. I am not very good at this.
No worries. But yes, Dan, what's up, Dan Harris? He's finishing his daughter's softball game, so he'll get here as soon as he can. And like I said, Tanner is going about 150 miles an hour trying to get home as quickly as
he's
possible
sweating.
So that he can take control of the show. But I think we're holding it down with Jim fairly
Palms
well.
are sweating.
I thought you guys were doing a pretty good job, to be honest.
Thanks.
See? Thank you, Jim. We appreciate
what else would
that.
you expect from L.A. Night?
We already said Nick is being blocked.
Yeah.
Yo, whose game is it? It's L.A. Knight's game.
There you go.
I got this shirt today.
Jim, let's before Jim goes, let's talk about that for a minute. Cody Rhodes, okay?
Yeah.
He's on the dominant.
Wait, before we even get, do we want to talk off season?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk off season. Let's talk off season.
No.
You ruined it. You ruined it. We said his name too many times. It was like Beetlejuice or something, man.
Candyman.
No. But we'll get back to the Cody Rhodes stuff. But we want to talk some off season?
Sure.
Do we want to talk off season?
Sure.
Yeah.
We want to talk whatever Jim wants to talk.
It doesn't make a difference to L.A. Night. Yeah.
What up, Nick?
What's up, you guys?
Did she win?
Yeah, I won on the last round of the game.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Proud Papa
has got the victory there. All right, we covered already the final. We were going to go into some off-season talk before we touch on a little wrestling. The trade that happened, the Devils trade Damon Severson to Columbus. Like, how much of an impact is that going to have for them, man?
So, look, Columbus, they're redoing their defense. Obviously, they got the Ivan Provorov trade earlier in the week, 3-team deal. LA cleared cap space to sign Vladislav Gavrikov, and they moved out space there. But you can clearly see what Columbus is doing, and they're still looking to add defensemen because you know who's coming in, Mike Babcock. He's defensive-minded coach. But they also need a center, and I think they'll definitely get one because Jack Roslovic is just probably not their number one center or Boone Jenner. So they're definitely going to look to add there. Look, Devils roster is different this year. Obviously, Burnett's not an assistant coach anymore. Severson was a good bottom six guy. He just couldn't eat the minutes that he did anymore. And obviously, he makes a big mistake, but he moves the puck, and he'll be good in Columbus, and good for him. But with New Jersey, obviously, Luke Hughes is there. Simone Nemec is coming up. So I mean, guys like that, like Ryan Graves, are expendable. I mean, they're going to make the moves because they have such a deep prospect pool and they have guys that are ready to enter this lineup. So no surprise Severson was gone. Columbus was in on him even before the Provorov trade. So they want to upgrade their defense. And the contract is what the contract is. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to hate it. That's the market value these days for right-handed defensemen who can eat a lot of minutes and it moves the puck. So it's a solid trade for Columbus. I think that's the right move. That's what they have to do. And they're probably going to look to add even more.
Right.
No,
And as far as fans, sorry, Scott, as far as fans that get upset about contracts and money, first of all, it ain't your money. So stop stressing it. And second of all, the market is what the market is. You're saying you can't control that. It's all about timing. You know what I mean? So some guys that you may not think are worth a certain amount of money, if that's what the market is at that time, that's what they get, man. Get over it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's the Devils weren't going to pay him $6.25 million. The market was 6.1. They wanted to go shorter term with him just to see it to be a stopgap before Nemec probably came up. He decided he wanted a long-term deal, so they decided to move him on and get a third-round pick, which most likely they'll trade away to get something, move around in a package. Like I said, Hughes is coming up, Nemec is coming up for New Jersey. Obviously, the Bratt signing, they need to re-sign. They need to sign Meyer. Those are going to be grinds. It's not like it's either going to be. I believe it's one or the other. It can't be both because the way Bratt's going right now, it looks like he could be traded. The deal is out there. The deal is there, ready to be made. The package is put in front of him, and if this guy thinks he's worth Nico Hischier money or Jack Hughes money, the Devils can get a first-round pick for him, and they can move on from him. To me, give him a short-term deal, 4 years, $6.5 million. If you want to give him 7, fine, but he can hit it big again and go prove that you're a 73-point player every year, and don't disappear in the playoffs. And you know what? Even if he went to arbitration again, I think that's that's going to come up. So the Devils will probably maybe trade him. They're going to do their best, but I think Tom Fitzgerald was overly optimistic about re-signing him. Now you have to deal with Meyer. They want to be in that salary hierarchy. So does he go a little bit above Hughes? They want Hughes to be the top end forward. I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see what happens. With Meyer, again, they have options there too. Don't be surprised if contracts come in for like a guy like Bastian or McLeod. Those guys will stay. But I think Ryan Graves is the next guy to go. And I would not be surprised if they get a goalie. A couple names out there, Connor Hellebuck and UC Soros.
So 2 questions, Jim. One, talk about the Arizona situation.
Oh.
I heard a rumor today that
I think we know how he feels about it.
that Hartford is a possibility for them to go to. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if you've heard anything. So talk about that, number one. And number 2, is Columbus the next team that could be on the rise in the East here?
All right, so I'll answer the first part of the question was about Arizona. Look, that thing is a dumpster fire. No pun intended. It is a complete dumpster fire. It is ugly. It is not good. They've tried their best to keep this team in Arizona, and you commend the league for doing it. They don't like to relocate teams. It's the last option. They're trying to stay there as much as they want. The players do not like playing in a college arena. It hurts hockey-related revenue. Yeah, it's cool. The optics are a little cool, okay, but it gets old after a while. They're trying to maybe go back downtown with the Suns. Maybe we can redo the old arena. Salt Lake. The thing is the NHL has finally admitted that relocation is a possibility. Could it be Salt Lake City? Could it be Houston? Could it be Kansas City? I've heard Hartford potentially could be like a landing spot as a temporary location until an arena is built. But again, that's a lot of travel for a team that's probably not going to be in the Eastern Conference. It's like the old Winnipeg Jet thing before they moved when Atlanta was in the West or Winnipeg was in the East. It can't be viable. It would be cool if hockey returned to Hartford, but I just don't see it right now. But it's a great hockey state. Connecticut, I like playing hockey there. The great teams up there. Columbus, you know what? I think Columbus is definitely going to be making some noise. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team next year, but look out. I said when John Tortorella was there were some years where they're like, Columbus is going to finish dead last. And I was like, really? You think so? And I would be like, they're going to probably make the playoffs because they're going to play good defense and they're going to get goaltending. And they made the playoffs. And I think that division is going to be tough because I think Columbus has a shot because they're teams that are falling backwards. I'm not saying they're going to make a playoff spot next year, but I think in a couple of years they could because Pittsburgh's going backwards. Washington's going backwards. The Islanders aren't the same team. You know, the Rangers, what are they up to? But New Jersey, Carolina are still going to be there. So, you know, Columbus has a shot. And then there's out west. I mean, we didn't even touch about Winnipeg. Like, Winnipeg is the hot spot for the offseason this year because everything, what they're going to do, because it's like Calgary from last year. Obviously, we knew Gaudreau wasn't coming back. Tkachuk didn't want any part of it. You know, the Devils tried to get Tkachuk. It didn't work. But now you have Connor Hellebuck's not going to re-sign there long term. Pierre-Luc Dubois doesn't want any part of Winnipeg. What do they do with Scheifele? Wheeler's not there. They have a lot of pieces that could be on the move. A lot of teams are going to want. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in Winnipeg.
All right. Well, before we get into the wrestling, because I know I know Nick wants to talk some wrestling. Shane Doan going to Toronto. Is that going to be is that a big move?
Yeah, I mean he's the assistant general manager to Brad Treliving. I mean, look, not too many assistant general managers' names are known around the league. I mean, some are on the inside circle, guys trying to get promoted around the league. We all know what this move is. It's to keep Austin Matthews in Toronto, which he's going to stay in Toronto. He was never going to Arizona. It just was never going to happen. And the fact that Doan is leaving Arizona tells you all you need to know about the Coyotes organization. More guys are going to follow. Don't be surprised if that happens. It's a good fit. He understands the game. It's a great place to learn. Treliving is a great general manager and understands it. So it's going to be good.
Cool. All right. Well, before we get into that, let's do a couple comments that Nick left. He got tired and just left. Tanner said you guys are doing a great job. He said, well, the show was good until Nick got here, but look, Nick left.
Yeah.
All right. So
he's back.
You say his name too many times and he just pops up.
He's a bad penny.
What up, bro?
Before we get to the wrestling talk, I want to talk a little football with Jim real quick.
Oh, boy. I know what's coming.
Hey, Saquon's out here saying, hey, you know the price. Let's get it done right. What's your thoughts on Saquon and the Giants? And can they get this deal done he's not really trying to reset the market, it doesn't sound like, but he just wants a fair damn deal. What's going on there?
Well, I mean, a fair damn deal is $12 million. That's a fair deal for a guy that's been healthy for 2 seasons. That's a fair deal. I mean, look, I'm trying to look at this from both sides, and I understand running backs don't get appreciated too much in this league. But you saw what look, I'm not trying to kiss butt with Tanner, but you look what Philadelphia's done. You look what Kansas City's done with the running back market. Tandems, trios. I mean, you could find guys. I mean, look, Barkley, he's a great player. Nick, you and I, how many Mondays we go about this? Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, it's the offense, right? Okay, that's great. I understand he wants X amount of dollars, but he should also understand that he's only been healthy for 2 seasons, and he should be paid off those 2 seasons, not all the rest of it when he was hurt. Now, granted, he's one of the best players. He's one of the better running backs in the league. If you can meet in the middle on a nice extension, great. But I think it'd be, it's like a qualifying offer in the NHL. I think you need to at least sign that, and then we can keep talking. If you don't want to show up, fine, whatever. But let's show some faith here on both sides that, hey, okay, we signed it, but let's talk about it and we can move forward. Because I agree. I mean, look, is he deserves Christian McCaffrey money? No, but he deserves somewhere between. I'll give you 13.5 million. Fine. If that's what it takes to get the deal done, then do it.
There you go, Nick. Any more football stuff? Because you know that wasn't on the script.
Wait a minute.
That's a behind the scenes joke, Jim. Don't stress that.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Wait.
Did you not read the script, Jim? We sent it to you.
I read the script, but also I know how this show works. We go off the script all the time.
That's true.
I know. I'm just giving Tanner. A hard time, boy.
Champs can do that, right, Jim? Yeah.
Yeah. You know whose game it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm so glad I'm here for this.
All right, Scott, you were going to ask me a question before.
All right,
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
He's done with Brock Lesnar basically. This is the impression I'm getting.
He's got
tonight.
one more. He's got one more fight with him at SummerSlam.
You think he's got one more because Dominic Mysterio has now come up? He's got one more. Okay.
He's got one more.
Where do you think his path is next? Because now it seems like Mysterio on the Judgment Day is trying to get with him to try to jettison Dominic.
I mean, look, everybody knows my feeling on this. Again, this just shows me who should have won the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It just shows me who should have won. But whatever. Look, I think they're setting up Dominic and Cody at Money in the Bank. And I think that's where Brock interferes, and then we set up the match at SummerSlam and so on. Yeah. But I think he's trying to elevate Dominic. Maybe, the reports are Brandy may come in somewhere in this, and we get mixed tags somewhere with Rhea and Brandy and Cody. Like, that would be kind of cool. You got to elevate younger talent. He knows that. You know what he did at AEW. So, look, how we get back to him in a world title scene, we'll see. But the fact of the matter is he's one of the best WWE guys right now. He's the hottest guy right now. He sells out everywhere.
Yeah.
Again, to me, this is why I think he should have the championship. And look, I love what they're doing with the bloodline. I love all that stuff. But again, the title's not being defended. Again, we're not defending the title.
Right.
So it's like I get this whole 1,000 days stuff, which is complete BS anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think the Lesnar thing's going to tie into the bloodline thing. That's my guess.
Well, it came out today that he's now doing some house shows, Roman Reigns with Rey Mysterio. That's the next title defense that's coming at a house show against Rey Mysterio Jr. How that figures in, I have no idea. How
it doesn't, because they have no idea, because they're like, well, we just need to keep this 1,000-day reign going. But by the way, when we create this new title, we kind of lost the lineage of the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
It should be the WWE Championship. Everybody's like, well, then the Universal 1,000. Bro, this stuff is all made up, and it does. None of these streaks matter. The streaks that were put together by Bruno Sammartino and the Hulkster and Pedro Morales and Bob Backlund, that stuff mattered.
That's 100% true. 100%
because those guys defended the title every
time,
day, all the time. They went around the country, defended the WWF title. Let's be honest here. This 1,000-day reign is manufactured and no one cares, because everybody in WWE has a streak, and it's meaningless. You would have thought coming out of that weekend, the two most popular things should have been, outside of the bloodline stuff, was the fact that Asuka ended a streak of Bianca Belair's, and Jade Cargill's streak got ended by Chris Statlander. Those are historic things. AEW kind of made a point about it. WWE didn't, because no one cares, because streaks, everybody's got a long title reign, so no one gives a crap.
Right. What are your thoughts about CM Punk coming back? He's supposed to be coming back Saturday night in Chicago.
Love it. I love it. I'm a CM Punk guy.
Jim, I liked you.
Look, I've been a CM Punk guy since the ROH days. I love Punk. It's just, he's one of my guys. Whether you agree with him, whether you like him, don't like him, he's a polarizing guy, but he brings eyeballs to the product. And That's what it's all about. And
Whatever.
And look, I guarantee you he's on a really, really short leash.
Absolutely, no doubt.
And he's not going to be able to talk about things he can't talk about. And there's a lot of things that are going to happen. They're going to have to find a way to make the money feud happen. Everybody wants to see it. Look, starting off with FTR, CM FTR, trios match with Samoa Joe and Jay White. And that's going to be a great trios match. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So
he's only gonna work with people who can work with him. I think Jericho will be that first feud after this little introduction stuff is what I've kind of heard. He's only going to work with people that know how he is and can work with him. They're not going to put him in. They're not going to put him anywhere near the elite, I don't think, at all.
Right now. Not right now.
No. They basically have said he's on the show and he's exclusive to this new show, Saturday nights only, so that they can keep him away from everybody else that was with the turmoil, which is the elite, Omega, everybody, Hangman Page, people like that.
Well, let's go back. I know John's got to get in here soon, but backstory real quick. Page goes off script before Double or Nothing.
Yeah, he does.
That pisses CM Punk off.
Yep.
Doesn't run him by him. So after he beats him, then Punk goes off script because he knew Page wasn't around. So this sets off a whole thing down the road, and then it just got ugly. Look, I will say Forbidden Door coming around, it's going to be a good show. Rumor is CM Punk, Kenta, if they can get it done, get it together, that'd be a great match. I think people want to see it. Got a couple big matches there, Omega, Ospreay, and then you got Danielson, Okada, that'll be good. Again, the wrestling world, the wrestling business is in a good state right now.
That's the most important thing.
I agree with that.
Get you out here on this, Jim. Who's winning Money in the Bank next week?
Whose game is it? L.A. Knight.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you, Jim. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Monday, brother.
Absolutely. Always
Hi, Jim.
with these gentlemen.
Appreciate you tolerating us, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Bro, you guys tolerate me? That's it. Return the favor, boys. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, bro, bud. Man. You have a good one, man.
See you, Jim.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you. Bye.
All right. The one and only.
All right, see you, Jim.
Jim Biringer there.
Johnny, why don't we get to this next ad read? And Scott, have you already asked your question today?
I have. I did the top of the show.
He can repeat it real quick in a second. Let me do this. The second promo is for the owner's box. You can download the app, use the promo code LTS, and they match up to $500 deposit. So this is an opportunity to get some money in there. Again, you don't have to come in with $500. You can come in with whatever you want. But again, they match you up to $500. So download the app and make sure you use the promo code LTS, and that's the owner's box. Check it out, people. All right. So we got.
So at the top of the show, I asked the question very simply. First episode of Let's Talk Sports Show, Mr. First Down mentioned Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets record in the playoffs when Jokic scores 40 points. What is the record of the Denver Nuggets in those games?
Yep, that's question number 2. And again, question number 1 was on yesterday morning show. So if you want that one, you're going to have to go check out the show because we are not repeating that first question. So, but you definitely want to check out the show anyway. We had a good time. Sam wasn't there, so it was even better.
Wow.
I got to start it with. I got to get Nick started.
That's right. Nick comes in, and you got to give me dog food. What's wrong with you, man?
Hey,
Johnny, me up.
Right with that. Let's bring on our guests. Let's bring on our guests.
Hey,
wow.
What's going on, Jonathan? What's up, bud?
Hi, Jonathan.
How's it going, fellas?
Jonathan, how you doing?
Could be better, Jonathan. Could be better.
All right, hey, could we all be better?
Absolutely, man.
Hey, Johnny, let me give you Jonathan Grishman the right. First of all, you got to say a man whose organization absolutely kicked ass this weekend, annihilating every opponent, just like his mama used to do in the MMA world. The one and only Jonathan Grisham. Give him the damn proper intro, Johnny.
My apologies, man. You know what I'm saying? This was a last second. Hey, Johnny, go ahead and just hold it down for us. You know what I'm saying? You got Tanner doing like 140 miles an hour, trying to hurry up and get home so you can get control.
Johnny and I couldn't figure out the screen layout. We were like,
why you think we don't got them up, bro? We're just going old school now.
So what video games do you like?
I will say this. I will say this before Jonathan goes. Myself, Jonathan, and Alan have a text chain for the baseball show, and he sent that screenshot with that score in the slaughter rule game that his kids played, and it was phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So congratulations, Jonathan, to you.
Congratulations on that. I was gonna let him brag about it as opposed to just letting it be known. But how was the weekend? How did your teams do, man? Let everybody know about all the domination, bro.
Yeah, man, this was our best weekend overall in the 5 years starting Alpha. This was our most successful weekend we had. I'll save my team for last and what we did this weekend in the biggest tournament in Texas. We had our 12U team. My 12U girls played this weekend, and they lost the very first game they played, and then went on an absolute run, winning 7 straight and all the way to a championship. And actually, talk about dominating a championship game. They won their championship 12-1. It was just they figured it out, and they were just like they weren't playing around with it. And it was that group's very first championship. Not just this season, but in our organization, having a 12U team, they were the first 12U team in Alpha to win a championship. Very proud about that opportunity that they had, and they've grown so much. They faced a lot of tough competition early on, which I said it to you guys. Tough competition makes you better no matter what you do, no matter what the score is. If you lose by 1, you lose by 10. When you play someone better than you, you get better. And it took time for them to understand it. It took time for the parents. I get pushback from the parents. It took time for the parents to get it and understand it. And they see when they got it right, they played and they balled out and they were able to get themselves a championship. So I'm very proud of that group and what they were able to accomplish this weekend. My younger 14U team played this weekend as well, and they played into a championship game as well this weekend. They were down 4 in the last inning, and they put 3 runs up. They just couldn't finish it. Out here it was 95, 96 degrees. They played on turf, about 108 degrees on the turf. They battled. They found a way to come back and had a chance to win. They just ran out of gas on that. But again, a second place finish for that group, which that is now their 3rd championship game appearance this year, this spring and summer season. They have exceeded our expectations this spring. And they're going to get bumped up. I'm bumping them up to the next level, or C level, or CBA, depending on how your play is. They're going to be a B team here in the fall season. We're bumping them up. They're ready to go. So we're going to get even more competition here in the next few months as they get themselves ready for that next level. So very proud about that. Wish we could have gotten the finish. Obviously, I want them to get the opportunity to finish the game, but you put yourself in a position to be a championship. You got to do something to be able to do that. So I'm very proud of that group and doing it again for the 3rd time this year. My team, my 16U group, this is probably my baby. I've been working with these girls for 2 years, almost 2.5 years for some of them. It has been 2. We have faced tough competition, national level teams for the last year. We played the toughest tournament in Texas this summer, the Texas State Championships for Triple Crown sanction. And we not only did we win a couple games, we were top 25 in the tournament, top 28, top 25 finish this weekend as far as the top teams in the state of Texas as a whole. We played a national tournament a year ago to the day. Got our butt handed to us. Again, talking about competition, you got to get better. When you play better competition, you got to find a way. A year ago, they played in the national tournament their very first time. It did not go well. It didn't go well at all. And fast forward, they got better. They played another national tournament. They got a little bit better results. And this year, playing up in our 16U age, they got a chance to not only play some of the best talent teams in Texas, but they got to compete with them. And they won 2 games. We went 2-2 Friday and Saturday. Beat some teams, beat the snot out of the team as I sent to Scott and Allen a 15-1 ball game. Girls, we had some power. We had 2 home runs in that game. We had a home run hit that morning, Saturday morning. Another home run hit yesterday morning. The power numbers were absolutely outstanding. Again, we didn't get the result of winning, but to me, for the tournament we played in, the competition we faced, to be considered one of the top 25 teams in the state, you can't bring me down for that. You can't bring me down. I'm proud. I'm happy as can be. I am proud of my girls for where we were a year ago to where we are today. And on top of that, they're getting recognition by colleges on top as well already as freshmen and sophomores in high school. I'm beaming. I'm beaming with pride and with being proud and happy and everything like that. I love that group. They're figuring it out more and more as we go, and the sky is the limit. To the point where we're going to be playing in nationals next month in July.
Nice.
I don't have a doubt we could walk away with a national championship next month.
That's awesome.
You should be proud, bro. You should be proud for real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and plus the thing is, I coached high school girls for 30 years, and when the light goes on and they get it, it just makes your whole season that they got it and they understand it and they know what you're doing and the pathway to get them to the success that they so richly deserve, and you do as well. So congratulations to you.
And that is the key. And there's a handful of girls that on Saturday where we, like I said, we should have gone 3-1. We had a 6-run lead in the morning Saturday. We were I guess we were too amped up that, hey, we're about to win this game, getting ready. And hey, they're good teams. They battled. That team found a way to come back and beat us. We were mature enough to turn the page real fast and put 15 runs on the next game. But afterwards, the key for me is I had parents text me afterwards, about 2-3 hours afterwards, and one of the parents sent me a picture of one of the girls. Didn't change out of her uniform. Was so ticked off with how game 1 went. Didn't feel like she played as well as she could. The mom says she didn't say a word to us when she walked in. She went to the garage, grabbed a bucket of balls, grabbed the net, grabbed the tee, went to the backyard, put some music on. She was hitting for 2 hours. That's because awesome. She got it. She realized what she has to do to get to that level, what we just faced. And awesome. She's not the only one. There was a handful of other girls that the light switch went on for them and said, I have to do more now. For us to be at this level and not just compete, but win at this level, I have to do more. And that's been the thing for me for over a year from the very first national tournament we played in, and telling them there's a certain thing that has to happen for you personally to achieve that goal of competing here. Once you figure it out, nothing stops you. But I told them I can't do it for them. I was like, I've already gone through it. I've been there and played at big games and played in nationals and won nationals and played in scholarships, signed contracts. I've been there. I can't do it for them. I can only guide it to them. That's like, the old saying, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. Right. I can share the knowledge and the secrets that these girls need to learn, but it's up to them to utilize, learn, and prepare themselves for what they're facing when they keep moving forward.
Agreed.
Jonathan, I want to stay in the softball realm just for a little bit. How good is that Oklahoma women's softball program? I mean, 3 years in a row, what 56 in a row.
Crazy.
I mean, is there any sight in the end? Like, are some of these girls graduating, or they just got more girls coming to replace the girls that are graduating?
So, they put in perspective here. Do you remember when I'm gonna go bring up LSU here? Y'all remember on ESPN on First Take where they were talking about LSU beating Bama? Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark were on ESPN First Take, and Marcus Spears was like, "Hey, Ed Georgeron says I got an All-American right here. I have an All-American right here. I have an All-American on the D line. I have an All-American at linebacker. I have an All-American at cornerback. I have an All-American receiver. Another All-American receiver. I have an All-American running back. I have an All-American quarterback." That is Oklahoma softball. Right. All-American pitcher, All-American catcher, All-American first base, All-American second base, shortstop, third base, center, left, right. Oh, hey, my pinch runner, my number 10, number 11 players on the bench, All-American. My number 14, 15, All-American. They literally will have 13, 14, 15 All-Americans that are on that roster. It's something that, again, you have to appreciate it. It's tiresome, and a lot of people are absolutely sick of Oklahoma, but you have to appreciate greatness. Yeah. You know, again, like I said to the guys last week, I hate Alabama. I absolutely hate Alabama because I'm an LSU fan, but I will appreciate the dynasty that they had for a while. You have to appreciate greatness when it's in front of you. And Oklahoma softball is the pinnacle of greatness right now for what they've done. 3-peat world, College World Series domination. Again, setting the record for most consecutive wins. I mean, my goodness, how do you stop it? Because it is, again, there's so many talented players. They're going to lose a handful of players this year. They're going to lose a handful, but they already have the replacements in line. And it also helps that they have the transfer portal that you can go find another All-American from another school that wants to play for Oklahoma, win a national title, and you go from there. So can it stop? Can it be stopped? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you're going to see an Oklahoma national title in 2024 because they're just that good. They're ahead of everybody. They did take a hit today, though. I don't know if y'all got a chance to see in it. Their number one pitcher, the All-American Pitcher of the Year, Jordy Ball, has decided to transfer from Oklahoma. She's going to go home to Nebraska. Which that is shaking up everybody right now in college softball. Like, what is going on? But they're going to have a replacement in the next 3 months.
Who's an All-American?
Yes, who is another All-American? Again, yeah. The issue is you can't for that girl, Jordy Ball, is going to take more than just one to replace her. She is the best. She was the best pitcher in the country as a freshman last year. She was only a sophomore this year, and she was the pitcher of the year, national player of the year, All-American. What was the most outstanding player in the Women's College World Series, dominant as can be. It's going to take a group of pitchers to replace her, but there's a school that can handle that, and that is the University of Oklahoma. What
do you think made her do that?
Suppose right now she wanted to go home. She's from Nebraska. She's from Nebraska. The statement she put out there was that she wants to help grow the sport in Nebraska. There's rumblings of other things that may be in play. I don't want to assume what other things may have occurred, but the statement that put out was she wants to go home. She wanted to go home to Nebraska. I respect that. I mean, I get it. I traveled outside of my home state and to play the game. It's hard. It's not for everybody. Maybe she just kind of got tired of being away from home, and she felt like she had a calling to go home and grow Nebraska softball. But again, it's such a you don't have that. You don't have the number one player in the country transfer from the number one school in the country. That's the thing that's just it's unheard of, right now. So it's caught a lot of people off guard.
That's interesting. I mean, she got her championships already, So I mean, yeah. I can respect it to want to go home and build that school up. I mean, why not? She may attract more people to go to Nebraska since she's there.
Yeah, you already got your 2 rings. You got 2 rings and a National Player of the Year.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
That's a sophomore. Wow.
Let's go to baseball here since we've hit the Oklahoma thing.
All right, fine.
Let's talk about the series just concluded this weekend with the Sox and Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how different the Yankees lineup is without Aaron Judge in it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the problem in that lineup without Judge in it? And with Stanton back, I know Donaldson's not hitting at all. I saw it this weekend, but what do you think in your mind is the difference?
There's no balance. There's no you built a power lineup with guys who are older, broken guys that don't really have that same power. I mean, again, Josh Donaldson 4 years ago, okay, yeah, I can understand that. He's not that. He's got pop still, but it's not as consistent in his bat. It's not part of his game consistently anymore.
Right.
Giancarlo Stanton, the same thing. Stanton's still freakishly strong, but how consistent is he to do so? That's the problem. Is where's the consistency of the power that you don't have when Judge is in? Judge is going to hit his. We know. I mean, he's become the best hitter in baseball. Power hitter and average hitter being what he's done over the last 2 years. And when you take a bat like that out of the lineup, that you build the lineup around to feed off the power that he has in that lineup, it makes a struggle. It's a struggle to happen. And that's kind of what you're saying. Like, again, who's producing the runs consistently when he's not in the lineup? That's the biggest thing. Anthony Rizzo's not the same Anthony Rizzo that Nick remembers in Chicago.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just not.
He's not even the same Rizzo that he was earlier in the season.
No. And that was going to be, and that's what I kind of said at one point. It was a matter of time. Like, is this real, or is this false advertisement that you're getting out of Rizzo? There's just a lot of flaws in this lineup, and it's an old lineup. It's an older team. They have the injection of the youth side that they brought in, but it's not enough. It wasn't enough to really say, hey, these young kids, they're going to bring in a little bit more of that of the run producing. They're going to do more for the older guys to kind of keep them fresh and keep them going. It hadn't been the case for most of the season. Judge had to carry this team a whole lot. You take him out, you're going to have this. There's no balance. Like I said, there's no balance and no consistency that is occurring in this lineup to go and produce runs, similar to how other teams do. When they lose their superstar, you have others step up. We haven't seen the guys consistently step up right now when Judge has been out.
Thank you for that, Scott. Appreciate that.
Listen, I wanted to get this
Are
question
you
out
okay
of
with
the
that,
way
Johnny?
early, Johnny.
Hey,
I mean, I already knew that, but I appreciate you having John explain it to everybody else.
No problem.
John,
Hey,
let me ask you about the Florida Marlins. They got the kid.
I never
They got the
mind
kid batting
trashing
over,
the Yankees, just so y'all know. I never mind trashing.
Right, I'm with you there.
Jonathan, I want to ask you about the Miami Marlins down there where Johnny's at. They are absolutely killing it. Second place. They got a kid batting over 400. Is he sustainable? And are they sustainable?
There's a feeling in Miami right now, at least, and maybe not in Miami, because people don't even people in Miami don't even know they still have a baseball team, I'm sure, but
That's so true, man. It's sad.
It is. It's sad. I mean, you have a team that is actually winning ball games, and they're still not putting people in the stadium. I mean, they don't even know what's going on in that arena, in that stadium. They don't even know why they built the new stadium. But
they should move to like another city.
Orlando may be more supportive of.
No. Further north, further up.
He's hoping for a team.
Hey, they don't have Marlins
issue,
in Nashville, Sam. They can't be called the Nashville Marlins.
Well, Nick, we could change the name of things. It's really not hard.
I mean, and that's an interesting conversation because I'm talking about Nashville. Like, hey, I think Nashville would be a great city for baseball. I think that would be.
Thank you. It would be, wouldn't it?
I mean, it's a great area. So yeah, I would if we have a conversation at some point about cities that should have Major League Baseball teams, I'd put Nashville on the list. Absolutely. But for the Marlins right now, there's a feeling of like, and I've actually had a conversation with a handful of people about them, and they said there's a feeling about 1997. It's very similar with this team that it was in 97, where they're like, they didn't have the expectations, but they just found ways to win. And that's what this group is doing. And they're not even doing it the way that you would think that it should be doing. Because like Sandy Alcantara has not really pitched what we expected him to pitch. He's not pitching like the Cy Young winner he is. And yet they're still finding ways to win. You have guys like Luis Reyes, who is, hitting, like he just hits everything. And that's what we've known of him. And that's why the Twins didn't value him, because he's just a contact hitter. He's going to get on base. Yeah. And the Twins know they have guys who can hit that way, not bat 400, but they have the contact hitters. They needed somebody a little bit more to do it, and that's why they traded Reyes to get Pablo Lopez, who can help the rotation, that they value pitching more than they value contact hitting. Marlins say, well, hey, you're a hitter. We need hitters. We'll pay you a contract extension instead of Pablo Lopez. So it worked out for the Marlins in that aspect of. And he's just been doing what he does best, and that's just hit. And it continued. In a guy like that, it carries the lineup. It doesn't have to always be the home run hitter. It doesn't always have to be a guy that can put a ball 450 feet. It's going to be a guy in the lineup that stops a pitcher getting hot. And a guy who can spray the ball around the field and put a ball in the gap for a single or double can create opportunities for your lineup that may need a little bit of an energy boost in it. That's a lineup right now. You have a guy like Reyes who gets on base. So he's starting to figure his thing out a little bit right now. He's starting to get a little bit more of his power shown, and he can drive in with a guy on base and you get a 2-run home run versus just a solo home run. Guys in baseball like that in major leagues, solo home runs are fun. They're good. They're good for your stats, but they're not. They're okay for the team. You need guys getting on base and getting 2-3-run home runs to kind of get the life going. And that's where a guy like Arias is really helping this Marlins team keep things flowing to where you can score 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs a game because a guy's going to like him is going to get on base at least 2 or 3 times a game. And then
what's up with? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, I'm saying, and a guy, when you have someone like that, and then you have other guys who are doing the same thing and being able to start getting consistently on base for them, it produces from there. And it continues carrying over at that point, and it allows your offense to flow. And that's what that's what the Marlins are doing right now.
They are. What's up with Sandy? Sandy out here with a 4.75 ERA, 2-5 and 13 starts. I understand you losing Pablo being that number 2. Probably was a big hit in this rotation just due to some of the injuries in the pitching staff right now. But what do you think is up with Sandy right now?
Well, let me put this in perspective here because I actually kind of saw the statistic, and I can't go down the whole list of names. I'll find it for tomorrow. I'll try to find it for tomorrow with Scott and Allen. If you go look at some of the, particularly the NL East number 1 pitchers, with the pitch clock being added, their ERAs have more than doubled 2.5 times. Because so a guy like Alcantara, who's more of he goes by his own pace. You make him speed up. This is kind of what you're getting. Aaron Nola's the same way. Aaron Nola's struggling this year completely. His ERA has 3 times higher than what he normally has been. Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander in New York, I know they've been limited on their starts, but they're not pitching like we normally have seen. I don't know if it's just particularly why the NL East itself is struggling more with the pitch clock, but that's kind of what you're seeing. And I think that's a general idea. Again, I'm speaking as far as not being in the room with Sandy to ask him why you're struggling, but that is the one tie-in you can look at and say the pitch clock in the entire NL East with the number 1 pitchers, they're all struggling because of and essentially could be tied in to that pitch clock just being there, and they haven't figured out what their natural pace should be. And that could be something that could be intriguing to look at. Like I said, I'm going to find the statistics that I saw a few days ago that pinpoints that. And that might be. It's just, again, he's on a different pace pitching wise than what he's used to. He's a big guy. Maybe that's something that's just he's struggling to keep his stamina going to where he can spot and hit and be able to attack the zone, and he's just leaving more pitches there where he's getting hit off a lot more. I mean, we've never seen. Sandy was dominant last year, and we haven't seen that same Sandy Alcantara this year. So, again, if not being in the room to ask him what's going on, or at least get a little bit more of the understanding of why he struggles, that is one aspect you can look at and say that probably is because, again, a lot of guys are struggling with the pitch clock right now.
They are.
It makes
sense.
sense.
A lot of guys. You kind of look at it too. Who's around Sandy in the NL at least? Around that 4.75, Freddie Peralta in Milwaukee, Tawan Walker, Aaron Nola, Yu Darvish, Rich Hill. You keep going down a little bit away. Charlie Mortensen at the 3.89 mark. Jordan Montgomery as well from St. Louis. Spencer Strider, and Corbin Burns is even above 3.3 right now for Milwaukee as well. And Blake Snell, you can go into that play case as well. There's a lot of guys that are normally closer to that top mark of the ERA this previous years that aren't near it right now. I mean, hell, Marcus Stroman leads the way right now in the NL with the 2.42. And we all know the Cubs suck. Oh, Justin Steele too, by the way, 2.65. So 1-2 right there.
I mean, how many pitchers? I know there's a lot of changes going on, but how many pitchers? Over the last few years, have we had throwing in the ones in the ERA, low ones, high ones? I mean, you had a handful for a while that every season you had in the ones, the high ones ERA, very low twos ERA. you're seeing, like I said, as you said, Tanner, you have a lot of quality arms that are in the threes, mid threes, high threes, and low fours with their ERA, like aces. And so again, you have to ask, what has changed? Well, again, they've changed the rule on the sticky stuff on your hands, and they're making you pitch faster now.
Yep.
I mean, look at it to the aspect, and for this year alone, look at the aspect of the pitch clock.
Jonathan, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, Sam, go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
Okay. I was curious, what is your thoughts on the Guardians so far? Now that I got Just Fans podcast in here where their Astros lost 2 to me in the series. Hello, boys. And are they going to stay kind of middling, or are they going to try to make a push here? What do you think?
If they can hit more consistent, they can win the division. I mean, they're still within the division right now. Again, the Twins are not running away with that division right now in the AL Central. The difference between those two teams is, again, the Guardians can pick. I know. Oh my goodness! I guess I gotta. What was the old rule with the Redskins back in the day? Redskins and Commanders. You gotta pay $100, like $1 or something like that, if you say the wrong name. I guess I gotta owe.
I'll take care of it for you. Just Venmo me. I'll take care of it.
But the difference in the two teams, and the Guardians and the Twins, is Guardians have better hitters. Again, and Carlos Correa is not. It's kind of disappointing. I've said this to the show with Alan and Scott at times. It's disappointing seeing Carlos Correa, because that was one guy I told you in the preseason show with Tanner and Nick that Carlos Correa was going to play angry, and he's going to probably have the best season we've seen him have in a long time. We've seen nothing of that. The overall hitters that the Guardians have, I think, are better than what the Twins have. They just underperformed. They've underachieved their aspect of what of who they are. And on top of the pitching woes the Guardians had on top with that, it's why the Twins are in first place. If the Twins can keep their hitting, if they can figure out their hitting a little bit better, they will run away with the division, because nobody in that division right now has shown they want to win. Guardians have I think the Guardians have more talent overall. They have just played flat to the expectations of what they were supposed to be, because there was so much talk that this was going to be the year that the Guardians would beat the Yankees in the postseason. This was supposed to be the year.
What a dream!
And it's everybody's dream.
I say this is the year to do it too, bro.
Yeah, I know.
And we haven't seen this team even want to even say we're going to be a postseason team, let alone be a contender in the American League. They're not even showing they want to be in the postseason. For that. So that's disappointing. But are they still in the aspect of the division race? Yes, they are, because the division is just terrible, and the Twins have done nothing to say that they want to own this division.
Right. I'm just hoping they find a spark somewhere and try to get something going here.
So something to think about too in this division too, with that Twins being first. I believe I heard Pablo Lopez is banged up a little bit. He's not completely healthy pitching the way he is right now, and so that's gonna. Without that number one start, I mean, Shane Bieber has an advantage over Lopez right now, just being the health range. And we saw what Bieber did this past weekend here with dominance. Against the Astros, and that's kind of what you got to see, a little bit more consistency. If you're going to get that dub, you got to have your main guy get yourself the win. And Pablo Lopez right now for the Twins, 3-3, 4.25 ERA. It's not gonna get you as far as some key wins there, and especially if you're banged up.
Yeah. The question on the Guardians are going to be asking themselves right now is Bieber going to be on the team long term? We saw with the Brewers. We talked about the Brewers last year and how shocking it was to see them trade Josh Hader. I could see Bieber be traded to kind of get some pieces back in the prospects list, and basically look at it in the aspect of getting a little bit more trade pieces in the offseason for next year. And that's essentially what the Brewers did. They traded Hader, got some pieces. They found ways to kind of improve the roster in other aspects to now be, in contention of the division again this year in 2023. I could see the Guardians trade Bieber to get prospects to find ways to improve the team moving forward for the future and still be contenders, because the division is so weak. I mean, the AL and NL Central are mirror images of each other, and the division is weak as it is. You can trade a piece like Bieber, get you some top prospects back, build for the future as well as the now, because of how bad this division is. So that'll be the question: is Bieber going to be a long-term play for the Guardians or a trade piece by the deadline.
So, Jonathan, we've talked about pitching for a lot of this segment. Who in your mind this year has been the most consistent pitcher in the majors in terms of from start to finish? We're a third of the way, more than a third of the way into the season. Who in your mind, pitching wise, has been the most consistent pitcher in baseball?
You go to the team that has the best record in baseball, and that's Shane McClanahan. I mean, he's doing phenomenal. He's leading the league in wins right now. His ERA again. Everybody's ERA is high right now. And I saw him being in the threes on his ERA. It's not he's got a high ERA. He's got a 3 ERA. He's doing that. He's the most effective pitcher on the best team in the league right now. Yeah. And for what he's probably showing that he's one of the most talented pitchers in baseball who's not even being talked about. Again, we don't just because he's in Tampa with the Tampa Bay Rays, we're going to talk about fans who don't show up. I guess it's just a Florida thing that they don't like baseball. But you talk about a franchise that doesn't get any publicity, and the best team in baseball from day one. Shane McClanahan is not even getting talked about as well. Who's going to probably use the favorite? In my eyes, should be the favorite for the Cy Young this year in 2023 because of what he has done on this team, on the best team in baseball. You can also go to Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks. Zach Gallen has led that team to being a first place team in the NL West right now, and that you look at a team that should not be in the conversation of leading the NL West. Because of the two other teams that are in that division, Zach Gallen has pitched himself into a Cy Young conversation in the National League. So, you can go for in the American League side. Shane McClanahan, I don't think it's even close. And he's been the most consistent pitcher, and should be in the conversation of one of the best pitchers in 2023. And then you can go Zach Gallen in the National League with the Arizona Diamondbacks for the same reasons listed. He's been the most consistent pitcher on a team that's in first place in their division.
Yeah, I think Nathan Eovaldi with the Rangers too could be eventually in that conversation. He is second best, of course, in wins right now with 13 starts. So, but I mean,
Eovaldi
takes it away.
Eovaldi would be the biggest surprise.
Yeah,
he would be the biggest surprise to I mean, again, he was a good pitcher, but again, what he's doing in Texas, I don't think anybody really expected. And I think Scott could say the same thing. Nobody really expected to see Nathan Eovaldi in Texas doing what he's doing, leading that staff that did have Jacob deGrom on it at one point. And he has been the best pitcher on that team. So Eovaldi is the biggest surprise, and probably a few more starts, he will be in the conversation as the most consistent. If he has a few more quality starts, yeah, he could be in the conversation as the most consistent pitcher. Absolutely.
I just want to say to Chaim Bloom, thank you very much, Chaim, for letting him go to Texas, because you got no pitchers left on the staff right now that are any good.
Wow. Question. It was reported that Marcus Stroman, who Tanner just said leads the National League in ERA, he wants an extension with the Cubs. The Cubs aren't even picking up the damn phone. Does Jed Hoyer hate the Cubs, and why is he fucking team? And he wants to extend, and he lose to go to a contender, and Jed Hoyer's not even picking up the damn phone. Why does Jed Hoyer hate Chicago?
I mean, if he wants to, we'll take him in Atlanta.
I was about to say we'll take him in New York, bro.
I mean, Boston, yeah.
Make a phone, Jed. Make a phone call to either the Braves, the Yankees, the Red Sox. At some point in the next 2 years, the Nashville Sound. Kansas City Royals in 6 years. Make a phone call to a team that wants to win. I can't answer that, Nick. I can't answer why. Again,
that's not Kansas City. So.
I can't answer to why. I don't know. You have an opportunity to extend him and be a pitch, and again, that's what he's been wanting. He just wants an opportunity to stay at home. I mean, again, goodness gracious, he's bounced around from Blue Jays that didn't want to lock him up on a long-term deal. He went to the Mets. Mets didn't want to lock him up on a long-term deal to what he thought he was worth. Chicago. I mean, he's a really good pitcher. I'd love him to be in Atlanta. I would absolutely love him to be in Atlanta and be a number 2 or 3 pitcher behind Max Fried and Spencer Strider, on top of what Bryce Elder's doing down there as well. I'd take him in Atlanta in a heartbeat. I can't answer that. Why you don't want to build? You spent so much money on Dansby Swanson to hopefully lead a team to the playoffs, to the postseason. and you have a number one pitcher who's doing, fantastic to keep you in games and win games and at least still be in the conversation for a division title, and yet you don't want to lock him up and say we'll build 4-year deal. I think you can Marcus Stroman for a 4-year deal right now.
Right.
Who would not want to do that? I mean, unless Stroman's asking for 7 years. Okay, I can understand right now not wanting to pay him for 7 years. But if you can go to him and say, hey, we'll give you a 4-year extension, we'll give you a pay raise on top of it. You're going to be the ace of the staff for the next 4 years. How do you not want to do that type of deal?
Right.
So it's just a matter of what is Stroman asking for, I think. But I can't answer why they don't want to build a winner in Chicago on the north side for you. Again, that World Series in 2016 is so worth it, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's it. You got one every 100 years, Nick.
So I'm a little overdue then, right? Yeah.
I think
Nashville sound. That was.
No, I was talking about my Guardians.
Oh no, yeah, you're not getting nothing.
I mean, my minor leagues team's called the Sounds, right?
I do know that.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Yeah, Ned Yost Jr. in there.
That's right. Mookie Betts too.
He loves that place too. Loves that place.
Yep, it's awesome. Go ahead,
Jonathan. What you got coming up this weekend, dude?
My week. I start out, so I got the show with Scott and Alan tomorrow afternoon, and as soon as I'm done with that, I am hitting the road to Enid, Oklahoma. It's in North Oklahoma for a college round robin. We were invited in for my 18U team, so they're going to go play in front of a couple colleges in the area. Get to meet with them, meet with the school, meet with the coaches, play 2 games out there, and then we head back to Fort Worth that night. Get a day or 2 rest, and then we go to Stephenville, Texas. My 18U team does for Tarleton State Division I school showcase that they're hosting to play in front of them. There's about 5 or 6 other schools that's going to be out there as well. So we'll get to be on 2 different college campuses this week and play in front of college coaches. So we have that going on. My older 14U team is playing that as well. They're growing. And we're getting ready to bump them up. Talking about teams being bumped. They're going to be actually moving up to 16U next year. Or in the fall season, next season. So we're moving them quickly as we go as well. So there's and then we have my 10U team in action as well as my 14U baseball team is playing also. So 4 teams in action this weekend with me traveling tomorrow afternoon and then heading out west of Fort Worth for about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive for another showcase for my 18U team and get them, again, recruiting is the key for that group. Try to get them in front of as many colleges as we can and get the process, moving quick to where we can get them options to make the decision of where they want to play for another 4 years after high school.
Did you get that? Did you get that wall fixed up?
They get the wall?
Yeah. Did she finish the wall?
Oh, we finished it. Oh yeah,
it's done.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, we made sure to get it finished. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I had to ask. I wanted to make sure. I didn't see the finished work.
So we'll send the picture tomorrow. We'll send the picture. Like. We got to paint it first. We got to get it. Oh yeah. A little backstory. My girl's daughter. She put her head through her bedroom wall this morning. So yeah, we had to go through Lowe's and Home Depot a few times this afternoon to kind of get it fixed up for us. So yeah.
Hey, see you this weekend, Jonathan. Go out there and kick some ass, and we'll catch you next Monday, brother.
I always appreciate it, guys.
See you, Jonathan.
Great having you, bud. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Hey, before we get out of here, Tanner, go ahead and let's read that final promo.
I did them both.
Oh, you did them both.
I did them both. Johnny. Well, go ahead. I did them both, bro. I got you.
Hey, well,
yeah, we're good.
Got it. Go ahead and let's get our parting shots and final thoughts, and we'll get out of here.
All right, Johnny, you're up.
All right. Well, I mean, it was a lot of fun talking to Jim and John, of course. Shout out to Dan Harris again for making this all happen, man. It's been a lot of fun. We're having a good time. If you get an opportunity, check out the Johnny Cruz show from earlier today. It was the appetizer before the big show with Matt Larison of Larison Bets. Again, he's on every Friday, 6 p.m. with his brother Ryan. giving all kinds of tips for fantasy and for sports betting. The man knows his stuff, and it's not just football. He knows all sports. So definitely check him out. Check out that episode. I will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. with the Let's Talk New York Yankees with the one and only Dan Harris and Rob Logan. And then I will be with my boy Alex for Let's Talk Miami Dolphins tomorrow at 8 p.m. So I got another back-to-back tomorrow as well.
There you go, man.
Dan's making it work, boy. He said you want that money, you're going to have to double up a couple times a week, man. So it's all good, man. I got to do what I got to do.
That old slave driver, I tell you. Wow.
Yeah, he is, man.
All right, Scott, you're
cracking
up,
the
dude.
whip.
Right. Final thoughts here.
So if anybody's watching this Heat Nuggets game, it's an 89-88
Oh, man.
Heat lead with 1:30 left in the game. So the Heat have showed up to play tonight, which is phenomenal. It's great to see that they've showed up and they want to extend the series. So, right, we get off.
What did you say the score was?
It was 89-88 with 1.5 minutes left. So
I won't break your heart then.
91-89 Nuggets.
24 seconds
left.
I won't break your heart then because you're a little behind. But go ahead.
No, but that's all right because
it's a good game though. Like you said,
I took Miami plus 8.5.
Battle.
I took Miami with the points, and me and Tanner, we're going back and forth on a little prop that DraftKings put up.
Oh,
that already hit.
Now.
So I'm totally happy with tonight's outcome, however it goes. So, but this is great. We're 1 week into this journey after tonight's show, and it's been phenomenal. So, and it looks to get bigger and grow even more. So,
Yep.
Awesome.
Go ahead,
Mr. Sam.
Hey, bro.
What you got?
Well, I always love being on the show. Thank you, Jim, for coming on. Love being on with you fellas. It's tons of fun. Always have a good time. On Wednesday, Fanboy Unleashed, about 8 p.m. Central, I'm going to have Kevin Mitchell, ex-MLB player on. So that'll be my first kind of ex-pro guy, so wish me luck on that. And
you'll have fun, bro. It's going to be good.
Yeah, Abaco, it will be fun. And, boy, this NLB – dang it, I can't say it right. NBA Finals that's happening here is totally crazy. It is fun to talk about it with you guys, and can't wait to do it all again on Thursday.
Yep.
All right, guys. So props to the boys. Nick and I are out beginning the show. They did a really great job. Talked tennis, talked a bunch of different stuff, video games. Great job with Jim there, hitting the Stanley Cup playoffs and wrestling. Get to listen to them all on the way back down. Great job with the boys. They adapted. They did really great. So props to them. And guys, this is some stuff that happens, right?
Trying to make you proud, bro. Trying to make you proud.
You did well. I thought it went really well, and that's what's going to happen sometimes. Some of us are going to be busy, and you might see three of us like that on the stream and trying to figure life out. So appreciate the guys for doing it, rocking it today. Guys, look, Nuggets have to finish this out, and I think they will. I don't think the Heat come back here. 92-89. So, hey, got myself some prop bets despite the softball. By the way, I can't do things the same way I used to do before in the softball world. Found that out today.
What?
I'm old, dude. That hurt. I scooped up a ball at first, ran to first, and tried to stay perpendicular or whatever to a home plate, throwing it like this. Oh, it didn't go to home plate. Say that much. It went to a little bit to the right, and that's because my arm and body stopped moving that way. No, it was fun though. I had a blast. Got the game-winning hit, so always a good thing.
Nice. Good job with the game-winning hit.
Yes.
As you get older, you realize that you got to adjust your whole body to do certain things, bro.
Can't do certain moves again like I used
to. It's 93-89 now, boys. They got him, I think. 14 seconds left.
That's ball game, man. That's ball game.
It is over. Shout out again to the boys holding down the fort while mom and dad were out. Obviously, I'm daddy. And
Tanner is very nurturing. He's very nurturing.
Shout out to the boys for holding down the fort while mom and dad were handling business. With that being said, with the NBA Finals wrapping up, I mean, two things. I think two takeaways I'm going to say here as we wrap this up. For the NBA Finals, and we'll get more into it on Thursday. But my final thoughts are: number one, Nikola Jokic showed the world that
He's the best player on the planet right now.
Best NBA player playing in the league right now. Number 2, every other team should be looking at every team in the West, whether it's the Warriors, the Lakers. There's a new kid on the block, and how are you going to beat them? Because the Nuggets are here to stay for a long time. Nikola Jokic and Murray are not going anywhere. They're tied to Denver. They have the perfect nucleus of a team with a couple of those other guys, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., the Brown boys as well. So that team, they got to look and say, what can we do to add to beat Denver? Because it's going to take everything for a team to beat that team in 7 games unless an injury happens. So that's my final thoughts on the NBA Finals. Again, it's been another great episode of the Let's Talk Sports Show. Tune in Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central. Make sure you check out the boys and all their projects, whether it's the Johnny Cruz Show, the MLB Sports Show, Fanboy Unleashed, the Sports Buffoons. Please check out all their stuff right here on the Let's Talk Sports Network.
Who do we got Thursday?
What?
Who do we got Thursday?
I don't know. Who do we got? You tell us, Booker.
All right, baby. We got John from Sideline Sports and also part of Fox Radio. He's going to be joining us. We're going to be talking Miami Heat with him. We'll be talking his reactions, what he got to do in the draft and everything like that. And then Jay from Rec Room Sports is going to be joining us in the second hour on Thursday. And we'll be starting the NBA draft discussion here as we got our big show a week from Thursday. So tune in. There's lots of NBA content coming your way still, despite the final here. 94-89. The Denver Nuggets win the NBA Finals.
Their first ever championship. Congratulations to the Nuggets and their fans.
Love it.
It's hey, congratulations to the Nuggets. It's gonna be mile ha in Denver.
I'm about to try and catch up.
On that note, let's get out of here. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. We're back Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central, right here, the Let's Talk Sports Show on the Let's Talk Sports Network. See you on Thursday. Be a friend, tell a friend. Tanner, hit that outro, baby.
Yeah.
Life better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Bloody hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep on the scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight.